HOPE is an acronym for this. It stands for Home, Opportunity, Preservation, Environments. Now, our HOPE communities will provide for the three things that not only do we need today, but even more that we're going to need in the future.
Welcome to the Big Money Influencers Podcast. We talk with top influencers and experts to help you navigate and prosper in your business. It's all about creating wealth, legacy, and an online presence. Here's your host, Sienna Livingston.
I'm talking with James Mitchell, and he's the founder of Wow Ministries. I am so happy to sit down with him and ask him some questions about wealth, abundance, and prosperity, and helping people, because a big secret to building wealth is serving communities, helping people, loving on people, spreading kindness and love into different communities. And that's something that James certainly does. In a nutshell, what do you do?
So thank you, first of all, Sienna, for giving me the opportunity to spend some time sharing this passion that is just so close to my heart. What I do is basically work on being who God created me to be. And God has created us each for different purposes. And the more that I've been in tune and walked out the visions that he's giving me, in the Bible, it says we are his hands and feet. We all have a light to shine. He says, don't put it under a bush, don't put it on a hill. Based on my growth growing up, I had a lot of opportunities to experience things that make me relatable to 99% of the people. With that, then you combine my experiences with experiences that gave me an opportunity for my heart to grow and step more into love and heart, and understand that love is really all we have. That's the whole purpose of us being here, is to be God's love, shining that love everywhere in this world that needs it, which is all of us. We all need it. And there's a flow that we all need it. And as we receive it, we can then give it. And so the flow of giving and receiving. I was called to build a national and international program to bring faith and fitness together in a whole new chain of faith-based fitness centers to give people a positive, loving environment to work out in. When I would go to the gym, at times I would just feel like going through whatever my bags of whatever I'm carrying of my own stuff. Everybody has stuff they're going through. I go to the gym and I'm just a number. I'm just a key fob that I pay monthly for to go do my own thing. One time I was working out and I felt like the music that I was hearing, the things on the TV screens and everything, all that media incoming was not serving me. I was really just focusing deeply on love and God's love. And I just felt really frustrated that I was feeling like I had to kind of protect myself from all this media. I actually complained to God and said, there's nowhere for me to go to work out and just be in that kind of environment just with you and focus on my health. And of course, they say, be careful what you ask for, because then he charged right back to me, okay, build it. And I'm like, no. So there's a whole story out there. There's a book on the market called Wow, One Man's Journey. It's basically my story. There will probably be a link in this video to the book. But basically, my journey has been going from challenges into walking out what God has called me to do. Today, he has enlarged that vision because he charged me with taking a portion of that success from the gyms that we would create, from the monthly memberships, and pouring that into a nonprofit to use to eradicate homelessness and hunger. Today, that vision has been enlarged in the how that's going to happen. And we are to build what's called HOPE communities. HOPE is an acronym for this. It stands for Home, Opportunity, Preservation, Environments. Now, our HOPE communities will provide for the three things that not only do we need today, but even more that we're going to need in the future. We need affordable rental housing like never before. I don't see it happening. We also need jobs where wages pay for what people's needs are. Affordable wages. And then everyone needs food. So essentially we need housing, food, and jobs. I've been referred to before as an architect, not like a literal architect, but that I get these things in my mind and it's like, okay, if we did this and we did this, then we could do this and we could do this. And it's kind of like I've been referred to as like the architect of the vision. How do we put this together? So God's given me all this information. And of course, all the how comes to God, it's not my job to know the how. It's my job to know this is what he's calling me to, and allow him to work out the perfect place and time and opportunities and way to do it. Not my way, will, and time, but thy will, thy way, and thy time. When the right time, sometimes as a parent, I don't give something to my daughter, not because I'm never going to, but because it's not yet the right time. So there's a lot that goes into us being able to even walk out visions that we feel God has given us to walk out. I've had to learn to be patient, knowing that it's obviously not the right time yet. But with these Hope communities, one of the things that intrigues me is looking forward into the future at cutting edge technologies. What do I think that later is going to hit? There's going to be a time for the early adopters to adopt something. Later, it'll become mainstream. There's a couple things that I see as in the early adoption stage right now. One of them is a way to build affordable housing. We're going to be able to build housing that we can build in less than a third of the time for less than half the price. I have everything as far as how that's all going to happen. The other thing we're going to do, totally recreate the organic food like produce, fruits and vegetables. We're going to totally revitalize and re-energize and recreate what I see that can become the mainstream methods of growing fruits and vegetables organically. There's something out there called aquaponics. And so we're basically going to create these communities where we're creating jobs that are managing and growing all of this food that'll get taken to market, feed the communities, and the housing that gets provided for some of those coming in to create jobs. For example, I have a town, as soon as we're ready, as soon as God's ready, should I say, I will be able to present a business plan that in exchange for that, I will be given 100 acres of land. With 100 acres of land that I'm just given, if we take 50 of those acres and create our food production system on those 50 acres, then annually we will create 40 million vegetables and up to 4.6 million pounds of fish. 4.6 million pounds of fish and 40 million vegetables annually. It'll all be certified organic. My vision is to provide the consumer, people, our brothers and sisters, everyone, with organic produce that is no more for the price than conventional. Because some people say that money doesn't buy health, money doesn't buy happiness, money doesn't buy. Guess what? It does. Money determines the difference between whether you have to go to a county hospital and sit all night in an emergency room, or if you can have health insurance that you have to pay for, provides you better doctors, better and faster access, even to alternative technologies and alternative therapies that aren't available in the traditional mainstream medical community. That brings up the topic of healthcare versus sick care. A lot of people call our healthcare system healthcare. When you go to the doctor, you're not managing your health, you're managing being sick. We need healthcare practices that help us maintain our health so that we don't even get sick as often. But then when we do, we have an opportunity to go to a sick care facility, doctor, hospital. Money doesn't buy happiness. If a lady has a choice between two guys, one's a prince, one's a pauper, I'm not saying she's automatically going to love the prince, but she's got some good odds there. But as far as money doesn't buy health, also as far as food, money determines whether you get to buy organic or you have to buy the pesticide-laden stuff. And I'll go so far as to talk about glyphosate being a chemical that is used on all conventional corn, and it's used out there in a lot of products, shows up. Glyphosate is a product from Monsanto, a pesticide that is proven, if you just do your research on it. We're not going to take the time here to go into it, but I've been studying health for so many years, and cause and effect, and knowing that garbage in, garbage out. We are what we eat. We are what we breathe. We are what we think. We are. We can really look at everything that's presented in what, Sienna, you've given us opportunities to have this platform for. We can all look at what are opportunities for growing in any and all areas of our lives.
Yes, we can. It's awesome. So you talked about a lot of different people. You're serving all people. You're serving the homeless and poor and the rich. Who's your heart really for? Like, who are you called to serve?
One night when I found on Netflix a period piece on Mother Teresa called The Letters. It explained how Mother Teresa went from being in a convent to then the role she stepped into when God broke her heart for the hungry and the homeless. Mother Teresa, I later learned, is like in part responsible for the whole concept of hospice care. She felt like even if someone is homeless, they still deserve to have dignity to die, not out on the street, not just be left on the sidewalk. Well, as soon as they take their last breath, then we'll cart them off. My whole life is based on Matthew 25:35. That scripture talks about one day when I stand before Jesus and he says, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I needed shelter, you brought me in. Everything I am and everything that my focus is has to do with how can I serve? Who's out there? What are the needs? It's so easy to become so overwhelmed at the need. Mm-hmm. So part of my work has been realizing I'm not God. I can't solve world hunger by myself. That's what I can do, though, is I can do whatever he calls me to do in however he calls me to do it, to play my role in that. My biggest focus for the last 5 years, when he told me, feed my sheep, I was like, well, how are we going to do that? And then I saw how we're going to do that with the gyms and everything. There's a lot of money that we're going to have just when our gyms are out there, like Anytime Fitness, for example, is one gym chain. Back in 2017, when I looked at the numbers, I saw that we would have $15 million a month just in the 10% tithe from the gym members' monthly membership for JWoww Ministries. That's not the gross revenue of our gyms for the corporation and the franchises and the gyms. That's just the 10% tithe, $15 million a month. I was astounded when I saw that. I thought, that's $180 million a year. Numbers may astound you, but think about it. Back then, 3 years ago, Anytime Fitness had 3 million members. $50 a month, the average membership. $50 times 3 million is $150 million a month in revenue that gym chain was taking in. $150 million a month. Why can't we do that? If we're offering a gym member more than just a key fob, go work out anytime 24 hours, if we're going to offer them the opportunity that they know that when they step through our doors, on the other side of those doors is love, that we see people as the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. I had the opportunity for a short time to attend Oral Roberts University. Kenneth Cooper, who kind of created the aerobics concept. At ORU, it's all about body, mind, and spirit, that we're complete beings. We're body, mind, and spirit. So when I go into the gym, it's more than just my body going in. My mind is going in. My spirit's going in. What if my spirit is downtrodden because either I just found out my spouse has cancer, or I just lost a child, or I'm depressed because I've just lost my job, or any other things that I'm going through? When the gym member goes, I know on the other side of those doors, they actually care about me. There will be a prayer box for people to submit prayer requests or sign up. You can go right now. I registered a URL one day called prayformypeople.com that I felt God called me to register. Right now, it just points at our JWoww Fit website, which is just jwowfit.com. And JWoww, when God gave me this vision, I saw Jesus Workout Warriors. We will have members for so many reasons why they'll choose our gyms, because they'll also know that in addition to having a beautiful, wonderful, spirit-filled gym to work out in, they'll know that 10% of their membership is going into JWoww Ministries to eradicate the problems that no one individual can do by themselves. Just with $15 million a month, I think we can do a lot.
That's beautiful.
In addition to that, then God expanded the vision for the homeless. I'm not about just socialism and a handout, give somebody something and feed their addictions, feed their habits. There's a stigma around homelessness. If you're homeless, you're either a drug or alcohol addict, something like that, and it's somehow your fault. I was rear-ended in a car accident that in one moment destroyed my income, my health, and started causing all kinds of problems. Did I have anything to do with causing that accident? Absolutely not. I was sitting at a red light, minding my own business. Could I have become homeless? I could have, based on those circumstances. God took care of me, covered me, make sure I didn't. Why? Because he's got me up to big stuff. But the homeless, there's a lot of them who, if you could just take them out of that environment and establish their housing, give them some foundation, then they don't have to worry about that. So they can then focus on areas of getting their life back on track. There was a man I used to work with. He helped eradicate in one town 91% of the homelessness. They said, how'd you do it? He said, we gave them housing. What do you mean you gave them housing? Well, it turns out it costs more money to pay for someone on the streets living, between emergency services, law enforcement services, homeless people that are defecating in front of Nordstrom's entrance, and therefore Nordstrom's doesn't get customers walking through the door because it smells like pee or poo or whatever. It's like homelessness affects everybody in the community, whether we like it or not, even the business. So it's in everybody's best interest. Take the homeless, put them into a program, meaning housing. Those of them who have their mental faculties all about them and just need some support to help get back to work, we'll give them a job with our aquaponics and everything, give them affordable housing, and it will charge them 10% of their income from the work. We charge them 10% of their income as rent. What a concept. When you go to apply for an apartment or a mortgage, to qualify, you need like 3 times, that price needs to be no more than like 3 times your income. Okay, 30%. So if we have affordable housing, that we're giving people housing, we're giving them jobs, we're expecting them to pay 10% of their job in wages as housing. If someone only makes $1,000 a month, they're housing $300 a month. If they make $2,000 a month, their housing cost is a third of that. So there's a whole way of looking at it where you create affordable rental housing that will feed us to do more with, because it's monthly income revenue coming in. We'll have our gyms, all that income coming in. We'll have our aquaponics food production that produces everything I showed you there, and we sell it to the supermarkets, the Costco's, the Cisco's, the food services of America, and we're creating fully self-sustainable communities. And by the way, they'll have solar power for generate electricity. We have machines that'll actually take water out of the air or moisture out of the air and create water. There's so many technologies we're going to marry together to create these communities that are going to be absolutely amazing.
That's utopia.
Yes, it actually is. And there's a little area in Arizona that's called some kind of little utopia. And it's not like that, but it's the concept of creating community where everybody gets what they need, food, housing, and jobs. And there will be some people that don't have the ability, that are homeless, that don't have the ability to support themselves. We will have a treatment center for recovery, but some of those people still won't. Are we going to throw them out? No, Jesus wouldn't. If I base my whole life on what would Jesus do, some in the Christian community, and this isn't throwing stones or anything, it's just the truth. There's judgment toward people that are on hard times. Jesus, it's not my job to judge. It's my job to do one thing, love. When I love, it's God's job. I leave it, that judgment, I leave that to him. My job is to do what Jesus would do. Jesus walked softly for the most part, and he wouldn't turn anybody away. And he held people accountable.
Yes, he did.
When Nicodemus said, "What must I do to inherit the kingdom?" He said, "Go sell all you have and come follow me." He knew he had money, and he knew that it could be a test, not necessarily that we have to go sell everything, but are we willing? Therefore, where's our heart? Bible says, man can't serve 2 masters. Some people say money is the root of evil. The Bible didn't say that. The Bible says the love of money. If I love money and that's what my motive and ambition is to make money, then I'm making money my master. Money is only really for one purpose. It's a tool. It's a tool. And I've heard it said before, you have 2 people. Money only makes you more of who you already are, what you already are. If you're a jerk, money just makes you more of a jerk. If you're a person that has a heart that operates from the heart, money will just make you more of that. That's why I want billions and billions and billions of dollars. That's why we need investor partners. That's why we need people who see this and go, wow, this guy is on a mission. I want to be a part of it. With the affordable housing, there's a way with actually using 3D building printing. I've been studying for several years. It's now starting to pop up in some other areas in kind of still an infancy stage. The cool thing is it's far enough along where it'll be accepted, instead of us going out and building it and not being able to get approvals and permits and everything, because home inspectors like, well, we've never seen that before. Well, guess what? You've never seen it in this community, but if you look at California and if you look at over here, then the opportunities, we won't get stuck and log jammed because we can't get the approvals we need. So I need real estate developers in different states where I can say, like in Colorado, where I have 18 and a half acres of land, I need a real estate partner. Why? A real estate developer partner. I know enough to know that I don't know what I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm humble enough to go, I don't know this part. I need help. Will you help me? We're going to be creating these incredible communities, eradicating hunger, solving homelessness issues, creating affordable rental housing, creating food that's organic, giving people what they need to sustain themselves, food, housing, and jobs. The job pays for the food and the housing you need. And we're creating the jobs that create the food to feed. It creates this positive circle. And I thought of the word hope. Like, what are we creating? We're creating hope. And I'm like, what kind of an acronym what could come? It's like, well, what are we creating? We're creating home. We're creating opportunities. we're creating the opportunity for preservation. These will be their own environments.
That's good.
So exciting.
It's very exciting. Contagious. Someone's watching and they're just like so excited and they want to get on board with you and partner with you. How do they reach you?
So 2 ways. One is through email, ministries@jwowfit.com. Ministries@jwowfit.com. The other way is through my cell phone, which is 206-423-0764.
Wonderful.
If you want to look at jwowfit.com, there are links to quite a few opportunities. I have a YouTube video channel. I have a new Patreon video channel. I have a song that God poured out of me called It's About Love, which is really what I'm all about. That's it. There's some opportunities to learn more about me, learn more about what we're really all about. I've had people say, I don't know, this guy sounds a little too good to be true. It's like, well, then get on and investigate me. Dig in and see what you see. Read my book, basically from the book called From Shark Tank to JWoww, One Man's Unbelievable Journey. Yes, I was on Shark Tank. Yes, I was called a squashed cockroach on national television. Why? Because the sharks got so greedy at what I was offering them that they wanted it all, and to fire me from being involved. And the way they were going to set it up wasn't even broadcast on television. In this 2 hours of sparring that I did with them, you get to see me on national TV for 22 minutes. Some people said, did you get paid to go on there? I'm like, look at your perspective here. If I'm manufacturing the only natural odor eliminator compared to the toxic chemical Febreze, and if I'm invited to go through a process where I have to qualify with each round and eventually make it all the way where they pay me, they pay my airfare and hotel to fly down to ABC on the ABC Studios television set. And then I have to pitch the producers of the show to make sure I'm not going to freeze up and clam up and then waste on national television the Sharks' time. And then I get to pitch. And then they choose my episode to air, even though it appears to the average person that they crushed me.
Learn the secrets entrepreneurs can use to create wealth and legacy. Discover exactly how the top 1% are building financial success, wealth, and a legacy quickly in their business. These are the only secrets you need to create wealth and legacy when it comes to building your online presence. When you visit bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com, you will get free access to the exclusive Big Money Influencers Live Business Kit. It teaches proven secret strategies that successful entrepreneurs are using daily to create wealth and legacy in their business. Foolproof methods established business owners are using to live and build wealth and legacy. We know you're busy, so we have convenient audios, which include foolproof methods established business owners use to build wealth and legacy. Easy to follow binder notes. And if you're ready to 10x your online presence or ready to take your business online, you can book a call and discover how to get started. Visit bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com. That's bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com.
On national television, the Sharks' time, and then I get to pitch, and then they choose my episode to air, even though it appears to the average person that they crushed me, because you don't get to hear the whole thing, just how ABC edited that episode for maximum entertainment value. These shows are for entertainment. So of course, when I was offered a 7% royalty, of course, you don't get to see how I pushed back and what was wrong if they didn't do this, and they didn't agree to this and this. Therefore, I said no, but you don't get to see that on the show. Yes, I had some healing work to be willing to let go of what over 5 million people saw and thought of me on a Friday night ABC primetime television. I had some work to do around that. Today, I know it served its purpose. I know that I was one out of 20,000 applicants that season that was chosen to go through the round. I know I made it all the way. I'm happy because forever and ever and amen, there are people who are not using Febreze because you're using a healthy, natural odor eliminator instead because of my time with that company. Do I still own the company? I still own a large part of it, but I have no involvement with it right now. So with that, reach out, do the research on me, contact me, email, call. I have a ministries group on Facebook that's called Jesus Workout Warriors. I'm not on Facebook a lot, but when I am, I'm in there posting positive stuff to feed you. as Jesus called us to be the light.
That's a powerful story about the Shark Tank. So many people would be and not be able to come back up.
Yeah, Amazon, I had no idea to know how to do this. When people would find out that I've been on Shark Tank and some of my experiences, and now JWoww, they're like, you have a book out, don't you? Probably with your story. I'm like, one day when God's ready for it, he'll lead me to a ghostwriter. They'll interview me. They'll get all the details, and then they'll write the book. 6 weeks after my rear end car accident, I had time on my hands. Why? Because 3 days before the accident, I was complaining to God that I needed more time with him so I could find out from him if I was on track with JWoww or if I was behind and I needed him to show me some things to bring me up to speed, or if I just needed to be at peace, that I was right where he wanted me at the time. But I need more time with you. 3 nights later, guess what? I'm sitting at a red light, smacked into rear-ended that destroyed everything that I was in at the moment. What did I have all of a sudden between injury and no job and work? I had more time. 6 weeks after the accident, I felt him tell me it's time for the book. And I'm like, never written a book. I wouldn't know how. I wouldn't even know how to design a book cover. How are we supposed to do this? How? So when God says do, you go, okay, knowing that he will bring the how. But first we have to commit. That's faith. We have to commit as Jesus beckoned Peter out of the boat. And Peter said, Lord, if it's you, beckon I come. He said, okay, come. Jesus didn't know to go, how am I going to walk on water? How am I going to do this? What about this storm? No, he said, Jesus, if it's you, tell me to come and I'll come. He said, come. Jesus said, and Peter said, okay, stepped out of the boat. He's focused on Jesus' eyes, walking across the water until he takes his eyes off Jesus and goes, wait a minute. Then his reality, his mindset, his ego, his humanness all sets in and goes, there's a storm, I'm on water. And he started to sink. He let fear set in because he took his eyes off Jesus. I don't know how to do so many things that he calls me to, but I've grown to a place of like, okay, if he says, okay, I trust you'll show me how. The book came out on Amazon. From the first word when I sat down to start to type and go, I don't even know what to write. From the first word till it was live on Amazon in paperback and digital download, exactly 14 days.
Wow.
14 days. The first 5 days and nights, I was at the keyboard. I was writing, pouring it out. Then I'm like, okay, God, we have this Word document, this manuscript. How am I going to know if I can figure out how to turn it into a book? So, but with his little flashlight, he illuminated the steps. Didn't mean I was up all night till 4 or 5 o'clock. Yeah, but guess what? I was being obedient, what he was calling me to do. And I was holding faith, knowing that at any moment I could run into a dead end and it would never come out. Mm-hmm. But I still had to step in faith and going, what if you really want this out? I have to keep going. I have to keep trying to figure it out. And it came when it was time to design the book cover. I've never designed a book cover. I've never formatted margins for a book. All of that from first word on the Mac to live on Amazon and paperback, designed and produced and digital download, 14 days.
That's crazy.
That was a move of God. That was not me. I could not rewrite that book today. Why? Because it wasn't me. I can't tell you what's halfway through the book. I don't know because it wasn't me. I had no outline. I didn't sit around for 6 months going, okay, let's write this chapter. No, it just came 14 days. Boom.
I was just asked by one of my guests today. He has a business on writing books for people. He's like, Sienna, do you have a book? I'm like, yes, I have a book. You got to work with me. I'm like, I'm not ready yet. So it's a huge process that you're going to pay someone a lot of money for. And I've known other authors and it's taken over a year to write a book. It's like working with a publisher is a huge process.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Well, and I've learned in my life as far as success that number one, my motive has to be right because there's the idea of positive affirmations and the power of positive thinking. I've tried things like that, like thinking, trying to convince myself that I'm someone that's between those ears can get to believe, but where it has to go from here down into my heart, it has to get from my heart and my subconscious, and then I have to become it. It has to be what I am. And I had a powerful thing that happened in one of my classes recently is I really got it that God breathes into us in the womb. He creates this life in there. And then when we're born, we take that first breath. Science has figured out exactly how everything works from when your heart beats, what happens next, what happens with your brain, all of this. So figured out all the mechanics of our body. What they haven't figured out, and that they've had to admit because they can't figure out, is why I take one more breath. Why this heart in here beats one more time. And they will never figure it out because it's not science. It is God. If God breathes his breath into me, then when I take a breath, he's breathing through me. That means he is Jesus. It says in the Bible, greater is he who's in me than he who's in the world. If he's in me, the more I can grasp that, then why do I allow some of the thoughts I allow and tolerate? Why do I allow some of the circumstances that I'm not rising up going, today this changes? Why? Because God is in me. I am powerful. I'm not powerful on my own because all I am without God, I'm just dust. I came here as dust. I'm going to leave here as dust. Nothing that I have here is mine. It's all just on loan. So am I attached to any of this? No, because that's not what feeds me. What feeds me is God feeding me through his breath and beating me, my heart, giving me one more opportunity to take a breath. There's that saying that yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today's a gift. That's why they call it the present. Today is all we have. This moment is all we have. The more we can understand that and value that, the more we go. So instead of me sitting around complaining about something that, or this room that I really need to clean, or this or that, whatever it is, whether it's a task, whether it's a goal to take on, maybe it's a goal we have set, like exercising. The more we value our body and see it as his creation and his temple, part of the reason for the JWoww fitness centers is to teach people that your body is a temple. Especially the JWoww fitness centers will have Christians who use them because that's mainly what they're created for. And we will allow anyone, everyone, an atheist, anybody. We'll have people who are an atheist who don't even believe in God who will join our gyms because they'll know that part of the proceeds of their membership is going to eradicate the problems out there, that you can be an agnostic or even potentially atheist and still feel your connection, your heart connection to other people. Mm-hmm. So really you're being God within, even though I allow everyone to have their own process and their own journey, their own path of where they're at. Again, it's not about judgment. It's about, here's the truth. The truth is there are big needs out there. Everyone has needs. We're here to help people understand and comprehend more of who they are, that there is some life force within them. Some will call it God. Some call it universal life force, life energy. But I want people to understand that who you are is not how much you can bench press. It's not what your body fat is. It's not how many hours you can run on a treadmill. We do those things to take care of and honor our physical being so that our light, that when Jesus said, you are the light of the world, I have a responsibility for my light to shine as brightly as it can shine with all, we can all agree how much darkness there is out there. How many people are walking around in darkness because of circumstances that have just beat them to the ground? Lots. So it's my responsibility for being the light. The healthier my body and my physical energy is, the more that spills into my emotional state, my mental state, my spiritual state. So we are body, mind, spirit. We are all one union of body, mind, and spirit. Every part of us affects the other. Mm-hmm. So part of the purpose of the gym is come in to do what you know you can do to honor who you are, but don't attach your self-love to what you can do in the gym. People look in the mirror and they set a weight loss goal. I used to do it. You know, when I get to this body fat percent, then I'll be happy with myself. Then I'll be proud. And then I got there. And you go, wow, I got there. Here's my next goal. And then I worked on that. Part of it, though, is chasing a carrot that I could never get to. The carrot of, I will appreciate myself more when I'm here. Instead of, I come in and I be in the gym and everything that I do is because I know who I am and whose I am. If you're a Christian, then you know whose you are. So if I know whose I am and I know who I am, then that'll cause me to go out and do, which will then cause me to have results. That is the journey that I want to help people discover in the gym. Mm-hmm. And them feeling awesome about knowing that just by being a member, even if they can't get there for 2 or 3 months, if they have a life interruption, they don't cancel their membership because they know every month we're counting on their membership because it's helping us to eradicate homelessness and hunger out there. and be the light. And again, we're not about just handouts. There's a difference between a handout and a hand up. There were times my mom raised four of us on her own, 4 kids on her own. She sometimes still needed help. She worked her butt off. She worked 2 jobs. She'd work night as a cocktail waitress and the daytime in a grocery store. And still she sometimes needed help. There's nothing wrong. We all need each other. There's something all of us needs. None of us are need free. We all have needs, and there's nothing wrong with having needs. We all have them. Allow people to step into our lives, aid us. It doesn't make us bad or wrong because we have a need. By us allowing someone to serve us and give to us, it's helping them be in the flow of giving, which means they're going to receive not the same of what they give, but in some area of their life where they have a need, something's going to show up that helps them with their need. We flow. It's like the Sea of Galilee versus the Dead Sea. The Sea of Galilee, the Jordan River flows into it. In the Sea of Galilee, water flows out into the Dead Sea. That's the difference between the Sea of Galilee, which is a living, flowing entity, versus the Dead Sea, where stuff goes in but nothing comes out. There's no flow.
That's amazing. Well, thank you, James, for meeting with me. I really appreciate it. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you is, can you pray for my audience?
So, Father God, I just thank you for this time together. I thank you for Sienna and all the powerful work she's doing and this platform and giving me this opportunity to just reflect more of who I am in you and that message getting out beyond just my living room. Thanks to Sienna and this portal. Lord, I pray that any and everyone listening right now and any other time to this in the future, that you will bless them. You will let some piece of information that they hear spark something that is just what they need when they need it, that will bless them. And Lord, I pray for our communities. I pray for these Hope communities. I pray for as soon as possible that you lead me more of the tools and more of the support that we need, because we know that between homelessness and hunger, and yes, the Bible says that the poor will always be with you, not always poor financially. It can be poor in spirit, poor in health, poor in emotional health. Lord, we are to be your light. Lord, help us to be your light. Help us by you leading us to those that we can serve. As in the Lord's Prayer, on earth as it is in heaven, we're creating heaven on earth now as you have instructed us. All these things I pray in your precious holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. And everyone that wants to reach out, feel free, please do. Again, JWoww through the email, ministries@jwowfit.com. Visit jwowfit.com. See some of those links. Watch our video channel. See some of those opportunities, and then reach out. Thank you.
To discover the secrets entrepreneurs are using to create wealth and legacy, visit bigmoneyinfluencerslive.com. And here's a big ask. If you love this podcast, will you take a minute to subscribe, review, and give us a 5-star rating? Be sure and share with your friends and family. And thank you for listening.